What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with another album review, and today I am talking about the latest offering from Obscene, Agony and Wounds. Also came out on July 12th, this time on Nameless Grave Records, and like I said, this is their third album overall, and first time I've ever checked this band out, and I got curious about this one because this is an Indianapolis-based death metal band, and seeing the list of bands that they were being compared to gave me some hope that I was in for some old school death metal, and that's indeed what we got here. Although I would argue it also kind of at times borderlines on like very early melodic death metal too, and like even the vocals, like the frontman sounds an awful lot like Thomas Lindbergh from At the Gates, quite a bit. But musically, as we get this going with the track The Cloverland Panopticon, right away you get like guitar harmonies that would almost scream melodic death metal, but then it goes into more old school death metal with the blasts and the low end tremolos, very much like Morbid Angel. I know I said the same thing in the Skeletal review I did yesterday, but it reigns true here as well. Like this blast and low-end tremolos, very much like Morbid Angel. But then, really from this track, like pretty much the first 7 tracks, it's very thrash forward. Like there's a lot of like some extreme thrash influence from bands like, I would say, you know, Slayer, Testament, Sepultura, maybe even a little bit of Destruction. Like it has that kind of thrashy style to it. But of course the breakdown here on this opening track is just bleh. Like it's just nasty. And then we get into one of the shorter tracks, Watch Me When I Kill. Thrashy again, but you get some like nasty chugs. Kind of like Asphyx. And Asphyx, I would say, is the big band I would kind of compare a lot of this to. When it gets into like the fast parts or the doomy sections, feels very much like Asphyx to me. But this track, it's one of the more faster tracks because, like I said, it's a little more thrash forward, but like the chugging riffs on top of the thrash elements felt very much like Asphyx. But of course you still get blasts and you still get plenty of groove. Breathe the Decay, still more on the thrash end of the scale, but with the riffage being again more lenient towards Asphyx. But there is a cool moment on here where there's an awesome drum fill that leads into yet another breakdown, which now brings me to talk about the lead work. A lot of the leads on this album are almost like Slayer leads, like big squealy dive bombs, but you also get plenty of shred. It's not until we get later in the album when the leads start to change. And actually, the first real standout lead comes in the following track, Noxious Expulsion. I think I said that right. The lead on there, it's shred-tastic, but you do get some melody to it, as well as some harmonies. And the song itself starts off more like Asphyx in terms of the doom side, but then you do get like this gorgeous harmonized melody that feels like At the Gates, but dare I say even In Flames, like early In Flames, before it goes back to like old school death metal with the blasts and tremolo riffs, but they're more melodic, I would say. Death's Denial, this is one of the only tracks in the first half of the album that isn't really thrash forward. Like it's more triplet chug and double time, but with the tremolos, almost kind of made me think of Edge of Sanity a little bit. And there's even occasional dissonant melodies, but not like Immolation or anybody like that. It's just dissonant melodies just to add a little extra flair. Written in Blood and Covered in Flies, this one returns us back to the more thrashier songwriting, and there's more machine gun riffs, although I would say this is similar to a modern band like Necrot, for example. There's some cool triplet chugs and tremolo riffs going on, but then towards the end, there's some more sinister melodies to kind of make it sound a little more evil. But then to The Reaper's Blessing, we return to some Morbid Angel territory with the tremolo riffs and even a nice bass line before it returns back to being more thrash forward some asphyx melodies that come up here and there, and even some tremolos that feel a little more geared towards black metal towards the end. But then we get into the final 4 songs where they kind of pretty much move away from thrash elements and more towards lumbering grooves, double time, and little more groove and doom. Like Rotting Behind the Madness, this one felt very much like Bowl Thrower. The lumbering grooves and the double time stomps felt like a Bowl Thrower song, but then of course it does get a little more doomy and some shredding lead work. Dressed in Corpses, this one has some riffs and rhythms that remind me a little bit of modern Blood Red Throne, but there is some cool like D beats and lumbering grooves once again. Some melody and harmony returns. Oceans of Rot, this one is a lumbering groove, but again, those asphyx melodies are just infectious. But then you get to the title track, and this one's the doomiest song of the album, and there's some like tasteful piano in there, the riffs, there's some melodic riffs, there's the asphyx level of death doom on here, but there are moments where it does get flat out evil again, and some really cool leads to show for it there at the end. Production wise, I thought the production was pretty well done. It was nice and well balanced in terms of the mix, and still has a bit of a grittiness to it, but it does have a bit of a modern touch to the production. And of course, like I said, the lead work's kind of all over the map. The drum work, it's thrash heavy and blast forward, but does slow down when it has to. And like I said, the vocals very much sound like old Thomas Lindbergh from At the Gates. So if you are into At the Gates, Asphyx especially, Bowl Thrower, and Morbid Angel, check this out. I am going to give this one a 3.5 out of 5. I thought this was a really good offering. I might need to check out the rest of this band's discography because this is some good stuff. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.
Thank you for your patronage.